No more bets.
Welcome to the Wildcast podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to Wildcast Studio for another episode of the Wildcast podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, I am your host Adam Lund. I am joined by Mr. Jeremy Boucher.
Hello.
And as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, which you should be, we are also pleased to be joined by one of our best friends and former co-host from Sports Quarantine TV, Mr. Chris Dobson, buddy. Good to have you back.
Hey, boys. It's good to be sitting in a seat again. I had, I've been listening the whole time, and in fact, I keep firing those messages out that, you guys have done a hell of a job. Anyways, yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm really excited to be here, and love the setup, too. Love
Thank
the
you.
YouTube thing. You're going places, man.
We're
You're growing
trying.
up, boy. You're
I know,
growing up.
we're trying. Sometimes technology is my
Absolutely
worst
love it.
enemy, but
Love
no,
it.
it's a good surprise to have you back. Did not know that you were coming here. Jeremy doesn't usually get one up on me, but
Surprise. Oh, it's good to hear. It's good to be here, boys.
so the Blue Jays, eh?
Yeah, we're rolling, boys.
Yeah.
I know
We're gonna keep it positive after Monday's news, I guess.
What?
But
Yeah, things are looking up. It's they're 1.5 games up on the Yankees right now, and half a game back, or one game back. 1 game back of the Red Sox.
oh yeah,
so,
the Red Sox.
Yeah, so right now it's a
It's like,
right
let's
now
talk
it's
about the Blue Jays. I'm like, why? The Red Sox are leading the wild card.
yeah right now it's a wild card match between the Jays and the Red Sox to see who goes on, but
they don't play each other.
I will tell you right now, if I'm the Blue Jays and there's a one-game wild card playoff game, I want the Yankees. I don't want the Red Sox.
Yeah,
You don't want Chris Sale in
I
a
was gonna
one-game
say-
playoff. You
well,
don't
yeah,
want
but
him.
unless he gets COVID again. I mean,
No, they'll play him.
yeah, they probably
Don't even matter.
You want him
Have him wear a
over
mask on
Garrett
the-
Cole?
Major League of course, Chris Sale over Garrett Cole?
I don't know. I don't watch
All
baseball.
day, day.
I don't watch baseball
day,
until the
every day.
playoffs get there. So
No. You don't want Chris Sale in a one-game
Yeah.
playoff.
what was with the unis for the Red Sox? The blue and yellow.
Those are the Boston Strong unis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying. I didn't really watch this. Cut highlights. I'm like, what retro throwback was that?
I don't understand for the life of me. I've got, I would say, probably about 17 different messages. I'm like, Dobson, what's the deal with these uniforms? And I'm like, I don't
Like, you know?
I don't work for the team, guys. The only reason I know is because I covered the topic on Sports Quarantine TV before the season started, because they had announced they were going to do it. And
This
that's
the
what it
first
was
year?
for. Yeah, this was strictly for this year.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so we did a story on it. Otherwise, I'd have no clue what the hell they were doing. I was just like, anyways, I got all these messages like I worked for the team, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't pick them. I don't know,
Oh, well, you should know. You are the sports guy.
but I knew.
But you knew.
Research, baby.
Masked Singer.
Wednesday tonight. Yes.
Tonight,
Oh my
tomorrow,
God.
back to back.
Yeah, let's go. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Been waiting for this. I'm excited because finally, I lost my Brooklyn Nine-Nine last week, and
How was that? You're here?
Yeah.
So you got out of bed.
You know what? It was good. It was a tough season. It's what I don't really understand about Brooklyn Nine-Nine is, they decide to end the series on season 8, episode 10.
Mm-hmm.
Why not take it one step further and end it on season 9, episode 9? Just for me, I think that would have made more sense. Hey, you never know. It might come back. You never know. But, I'm just glad there's going to be another show that I can pick up this week.
So do you have an idea? What's one person you think we're gonna see uncovered?
Andy Samberg.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. They stopped filming the Brooklyn Nine-Nine probably a few months ago, which would
Right.
have been tied in perfectly to being on Masked Singer. I think he's might be there. But another one, could very well be Anna Kendrick. I know myself and Dave McKnight would just,
Yeah.
If Anna
Yes,
Kendrick's
please.
on
Yes, please.
Masked
Yes.
Singer,
Yes.
that's
please.
just an automatic make
Yeah.
my pants tight situation. So those are two that I've always wanted to see them on Masked Singer, but I'd be ecstatic if even if one of those two were revealed.
I believe we'll see one of the NSYNC the guys, either Lance or Joey that you're kind of seeing on the TikToks, and they did that event. I think you'll see one of them. I mean, we've seen Nick, we saw Hanson. I think we'll see one of them. Twin Life. How's Twin Life as they get older and grow faster than you think?
I'm 41 going on 75. Honestly, man, the kids are good, bud. 2.5 now. Kennedy is an absolute
2.5.
Yeah, man. So we watch a lot of Dora. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of Dora. We just got into Paw Patrol this week. I was actually kind of pushing them there like 3 or 4 months ago. I really wanted to get there, but we couldn't get there. Overall, man, so just kind of like the kids in a nutshell. So the problem I'm having is that Kennedy runs the house. Like, it's hers. Like, she's a nightmare.
We tried to warn you with daughters.
No, like, look, and to your viewers, I'll tell you flat out, if anyone tells you and you find out you're having twins and everyone's excited for you, don't be excited. I'm just kidding. I love my kids. But yeah, no, Kennedy's just like, she honestly, so the problem is so her speech is a lot further along than Beckett's is. Mm-hmm. But Beckett's mechanical skills are very far. Like, Beckett's putting together full-blown puzzles, and she just comes over and steps on the puzzles. And so anyways, last week, and he's always very shy and kind of standoffish. And anyways, so Kennedy came over and does what she normally does, grabbed his police car out of his hand, yanked it. Well, for the first time in his life, he picked up a wooden block and clocked it right between the eyes. And like, as a dad, I was like, oh, it's time out for both parties. But inside, I was like, thank God. Like, I'm so proud of you.
He fought back.
Yeah, I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. But anyways, yeah, man, it's great. My kids are great. Everyone's good. Everyone's healthy. We haven't really left the house. That's been the toughest part of COVID, right? Is that like during this phase when your kids should be meeting people, they're not allowed to. So like everything is stranger danger, so they won't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not interacting with other parents that have kids, and you know, when you're pregnant in the regular world, you're like, oh, we're gonna do mommy and me dates and daddy. And
I just would love to drink with fathers of multiple kids. Like, I would just love to have beers and go over. Like, the hell, man, when does this end?
The twin connection's real though.
Well, it's starting to get there, man. Yeah. So like, they're finally starting to play together. Yeah. They're starting to.
Like, we had the Saulney twins talking about the twin connection, but is it start?
It's starting to get there. You know, like, if she can't reach a book, it's BB, book. And then he'll walk over and not say a word, just grab the book. Mm-hmm. But he'll come over and just look at her and just be like, no. And then, anyways. But yeah, no, it's pretty real. It's starting to get there. And like, when you put them to bed, like, they're talking to each other at nighttime. Like, you know, they're conspiring on how they're going to ruin my life.
Yeah.
Beckett got his new first set of skates, though, last week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, got him ready for the winter. Got him a new set of boots. Pretty pumped about that.
Gear too, or just the boots?
Just the boots for now. I got to make sure that. So, okay, last story. I'll tell about my kids, and then we can move on.
Sure.
So when Beckett was really young, we bought him a pair of shoes, and it's like it almost looks like a van skate shoe almost, but it's a slip-on, right? Yeah. But like, it at first glance, it looks camouflage, but when you look at it, it's actually like dinosaurs, like to make it look like. Anyways, long story short, he loves these shoes, so we've bought him many shoes since. Well, he won't wear them. Like, freaks out, full-blown meltdown, smashes his face into the tile till he bleeds, won't wear other shoes. So I had to go to Carter's, and I was like, what size do you have these shoes in? Because I want one from every size from 4 to 10. And they're like, they're discontinued. I'm like, find them. So I have those shoes. I had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I think I have a pair of 10s. And I have them all at my house. And so I'm worried that there's a 0% chance these boots ever get put on his feet. Like, I like, there's no way. So I'm really slowly working on getting these skates on his feet. But like, anyways, we'll see how it goes.
That is rather impressive. As always, you can follow us on Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, TikTok now, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Giggling at the TikTok.
I can't believe you're on TikTok. I love it.
It's like crack, man. You're scrolling, you're watching videos. The next thing you make one video.
Jagmeet Singh, he's a big TikToker.
He is a big TikToker. Absolutely. All right, let's get to news and notes from around the queue.
News and notes from around the queue.
Is that guy going to be our prime minister on Wednesday? Like, imagine waking up on Wednesday morning, and you're going through TikTok, and it's your friggin' prime minister just, doing the dance.
That'd actually be pretty quick.
I wouldn't be against it. I mean, put Canada more cool than it already is, right?
I was just waiting to see how many names you guys were going to throw in during the show. And...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, give it time, bud. We've just begun.
Oh, that's Trudeau, right? Like, that's Trudeau.
Yeah.
We're not going to...
All right. I guess the big news, the Avenir Center formally announced a mandatory double vaccine to get onto all games, all events. The Islanders did it as well.
I thought you were going to say that the Avenir Center, formerly known as the Avenir Center. I'm like, well, what is it known as now?
No. I write this stuff out.
The Propaneplex.
The Propaneplex, yes. Charlottetown did it as well. It's coming everywhere all the time.
Yeah. That's what she said. So,
but I mean,
That's exactly the connection.
This is why I'm not allowed on the show anymore. This is why I'm not allowed to hear. It's why they asked me to leave and never come back.
No, he didn't.
That being said, yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing though, guys. I mean, look,
No.
The issue I have, we were kind of talking off camera about it a little bit, not to get into like the ins and the outs of COVID, because I'm sure you guys have beaten that to death. But like, I guess I'm still kind of torn in regards to, you can only go in public areas if you're fully vaccinated. You can't go into a bar. You can't go into a restaurant. You can't go to the theater. You can't go anywhere unless you have both vaccines. But now they're like, we're bringing the mask mandate back.
Yep.
And I'm just like, okay, I get it. I'm surprised actually last week the announcement didn't come out. I think that was just their way of trying to get through Harvest Jazz and Blues last weekend. Because I think
hypocrites.
But Dr. Jennifer had a band there. She played something.
Oh, she had a band there. She was running around without her mask on. Her and Blaine Higgs both partying without masks on, and then they wait till that festival ends and they bring back the mask mandate. So talk about hypocrites, but let's not get too political.
No, and that's not where I was going with it. That's not where I was going with it. What I was saying was is that like it. I'm surprised the mask man, because I mean, we were at a point now where realistically masks were so normal that it felt weird the first day you didn't have it on. I know that when you went into a store without it on, you were looking around. You're like, "Am I the only guy who doesn't have it on?"
Well, it's true, right? Because
Right?
when the whole green phase happened, I was in Ontario, right? So then, for me to drive into New Brunswick,
Are you the super spreader?
I don't know. But for me to drive into New Brunswick and my first stop is the McDonald's in Edmonton, I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm going to go in there without a mask.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one without a mask.
Right.
So you're
of course.
It's like the other, you literally feel how, it's like you always made fun of the anti-maskers, but then all of a sudden you're the only one not wearing a mask and you're like, oh shit, like this is weird, man. Like,
and it was the other way in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago is you had to wear a mask every time, and so luckily we had them in the car.
Right, of course.
Because here we were just throwing them out. We're done with them. Well, I just wonder how they're going to do it at the Avenir Center when you go to concerts, like especially for a season ticket holder. Like I don't really want to show my vaccine every time I go to the hockey game. I have season tickets. I may be going into a certain entrance. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like there should be something on your ticket, some sort of stamp, which could get in trouble if you give your tickets away, like we generally try to do. But as a season ticket holder for myself, I shouldn't have to show that every time. I should go into my entrance. I'm a season ticket holder. I've been vaxxed.
Well, let me ask you this.
A scan on the ticket, right?
So as a season ticket holder, because this year I know that they were going fully digital. Are your season tickets digital or did you get a book?
No. So I picked them up Monday.
Okay.
And I got October's games.
Yep.
And then there's a second season ticket holder pickup with the actual book of tickets.
Okay.
Because they didn't know what the restrictions were going to be, so they gave you the first month. Just regular printed tickets like you get
because
at the
I thought
box
they were
office.
going a full digital Ticketmaster.
I know the
inbox.
Mooseheads are.
Yeah, Halifax.
Yeah,
Right,
Halifax
Halifax,
is.
but I thought Moncton was doing the same thing.
Not that.
Okay,
I've heard,
no, that's
but yeah.
awesome. I'm glad that you got your tickets. I was honestly curious about it because I got my CHL Media Pass last week.
Of course he did.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, we're trying
Shut
hard.
up,
but
loser. Shut up.
Nobody wants to give us
Chris,
one.
But
No,
look,
same.
like it came digital into my wallet this year. So like my Media Pass
Yeah.
is fully digital.
Oh, I should check my wallet. Maybe they did give me one.
Yeah, well, I got an email first, and I had to put it there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
didn't
but
then,
no,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like I heard that to try to stop them the walking up to the box office
Yeah.
and things like that, right? So I was really curious. That's awesome, man. Thanks.
Yeah, I would. Hopefully that comes maybe in the second half of the year. We're finally gonna have a Memorial Cup host, maybe
Yeah,
today.
hopefully.
Depends when you yesterday. Depends when you listen to this.
Yeah. Give me $50 on the Ramparts.
I'll take that. We've given our opinion. What are your
Okay, so
your
this
thoughts?
this is my opinion, and I try to keep this as non-biased as possible. They owe St. John the Memorial Cup. They owe it to them. They owe them a Mem Cup.
We've heard that 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
I've talked to Trevor a few times now. I've interviewed him. They're whether they win or lose, and he's gone on my show and he said it very clear. Whether they win or lose, they are all in. They've got multiple first round picks and second round picks still available to build on the team they've already got.
Right.
But I do believe that the league owes them one. That being said, there's a case on both sides. I mean, if you're the league right now, this is your first Mem Cup in 3 years. This is your third one, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to go to a building where you can sell 18,000 tickets again?
And that was
Right?
my argument.
It's still a business, but ultimately, if that happens, and if you're listening, David Branch, I will tell you right now, that is crazy.
Yeah.
It's not even Dave Branch. Dan McKenzie.
Dan McKenzie.
Dan
yeah.
McKenzie. See, that's how old school I am.
Did you guys read the La Lancette article that the tickets are going to be somewhat a little bit cheaper, more affordable. I saw it somewhere.
Which makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Which makes me sound like they're going to sell a lot of them.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, bottom line is I'm rooting for St. John. I would love to see the Mem Cup selfishly 90 minutes from my house because I couldn't make the last Mem Cup that was in the queue because my stupid kids were born. And, like, my kids were born on that Friday, Mem Cup Friday in Halifax.
I remember, yeah.
Right, and I couldn't be there. In fact, I got a message from the Lancet, and he's like, man, where are you sitting? Like, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm in a hospital. But, yeah, anyways, I hope it's selfishly it's in St. John because there's no way I'm going to Quebec.
We do, too, because Jeremy Moore has been bargaining for tickets from you. So
no, I'm well aware. I keep getting that message. Give me a pass. Give me a pass.
Yep, that's 100%. I guess that keeping it hockey in the province TV deal. It was announced, but sadly, as per Jerry Green, and now we have you on here to try and shed some more light. No more freaking Rogers TV games presented. It's flat out terrible that they're not doing it, and
look. What I'll say is this, man, and so when we got the news, and I'm going to be as candid as possible when I can say this. There's certain things I can say, certain things I can't. But what I can tell you is that we were disappointed. We were bummed out. We knew that when the announcement came that the CHL rights had moved over to Bell. I'll be the first guy to tell you it made sense. I mean, the TSN has the World Juniors every year. They've had it for a long time. It was the one part of the deal when the NHL Rogers contract went through the first time. But the CHL rights still, belonged underneath that umbrella.
Yeah.
But what happened is that, coming into this year, and I don't know how and why those rights were sold to Bell. That's above my pay grade. But I do know that when we got the note saying, hey, guys, it had a lot to do with the new streaming service that's coming out as well, CHL TV, which, by the way, pricing is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go get it. I mean, $159 for the entire country without a promo code.
Can't afford not to.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, if someone's got an extra promo code, please inbox me. This is ridiculous that I, of all people, can't get one, and I'm furious. Second of all, I just, like... we got the word and we're like, okay, so what's that? So instantly we thought, okay, is Bell coming in? Is Bell going to be doing these games? And then we saw that CBC announced that they're doing 2 Q games this year. Yeah. Ironically, both those games are in Quebec. None of them are in the Maritimes. Both those games are in Quebec.
Oh, yeah, Drummondville and St. John, yeah.
Right, and it's in Drummondville.
Right.
So overall, that kind of shocked me a little bit. And everyone's like, well, I wonder if does that mean TSN's going to come and do a couple games? And I'm like, they might do 1 or 2. It wouldn't shock me. Just to kind of, especially with the Mem Cup coming to the Q this year.
And they've been to Halifax, and they've had their cameras in Moncton with the women's game, so they understand how everything works here.
Right. So when we found that, I was like, okay, it must be obviously like Bell Community One TV is going to come on in and kind of do what they were doing. Well, hey, you know what? I'm a gun for hire. I mean, I'm not obligated to stick with Rogers that way. Yep. So we had reached out and said, hey, if you guys are doing the games, maybe we could be involved somehow. We've been doing it for years. And, sharing the booth with Jerry Green has been an absolute pleasure. And, I've had a chance. We've worked with Craig Eagles for a long time. And, we had a great crew. And I know we were all sad because, outside of the shows that run, people don't realize the work and the hard work that goes behind the scenes putting this stuff all together. And so when we found out we weren't doing it, we were really bummed out. And, if anybody saw the tweet that Jerry had put out, he's kind of showed a couple of his highlight reels over the last, couple years. And I mean, Jerry's been doing this so long, even before the Rogers side of things, he was the voice. He was the Tim Rozelle for the Wildcats directly for years, right? Like, I mean, Jerry's been doing this forever. And to be able to sit side by side with him in a broadcast booth and just kind of, my favorite thing to do is try to if I can make him laugh. Just during a broadcast, if I can make Jerry laugh, I've succeeded. But yeah, no, we've had a great following and a great, we've made a lot of friends along the way. And when we made the announcement that we weren't going to do it, a lot of people reached out to us and we're like, man, we're really sorry to hear that. Like, we're going to miss you. And so anyways, yeah, it was sad. It was a sad day for us, but overall, I mean, it's an interesting opportunity and I'll see what happens. This might not last all year. Nobody knows. Cause I mean, if there's no television rights in there at all by Christmas time, we'll see depending on how the stream goes too. I mean, I think they're just going to dub Tim Rozelle's voice over the stream. But I'll be curious from an angle perspective because I looked at a couple of the WHL games from the CHL TV stuff last year. It looked really good.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with it. So I'm hoping that each team has to find that, like, whatever the threshold is. Like, for us to be able to agree this, you have to provide this. And I really hope that happens, because that's the one thing I loved about Rogers. And, especially once Ignite TV came on in, the channel was upgraded to high def for everybody at that point. So, all Wildcat games were in high def.
Because Rogers is still doing Ontario Hockey League games, right? Community Rogers is still doing
Ontario. A couple of them. Not, so that's not completely set in stone. They were doing a couple preseason games. It's not set in stone yet.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, bottom line is it sucks. I wish we were there. I want to thank all the viewers for all the support and the love we've gotten over the years. But hey, never say never. Don't tune us out yet.
Yeah, no, it does suck. It was like my.
But I appreciate the love. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it was my third game in this city that Matt took me down, showed me how everything works, and people just really don't in the truck. 4 or 5 TVs and
people don't really. Yeah. So honestly, so in the truck
broadcasting with Wookiees or Stormtroopers.
Star Wars night at the Coliseum. Yeah.
Bring that back.
There's 15 monitors in that truck.
Yeah.
And in that big Benz jumper, it's
and it's not
Sprinter.
what you think. Yeah, it's not a massive truck like you'd think it is.
No, it's a pretty sweaty spot, man. The guys and girls that work behind the scenes there. And I'll give a shout out to Jason King, our producer, and Tara King Stewart. Without her, none of this would be possible. She ran the show. She ran a tight ship. So anyways, I'm going to miss working with everybody there. And, I still work with Jason. He still produces my show on Rogers Now Sports Quarantine TV with Jerry. It's basically so other than that, I keep an open text message group with Jerry going just so I can chirp him and talk shit every day. So
nice. All right. Let's get to some returning camp reports.
Wildcast training camp report.
Oh, they had the game on.
Yeah, that's a new one for you, Chris.
Scared me. I was like, "What was that?"
Yeah, we upgraded the
man.
drops
Who's
there.
your voiceovers? Who's doing all these?
Mike Sanderson.
He's doing them all.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I listen to the Ben just so I can hear Mike.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
I miss Mike.
Saturday at the Propane Plex, the Wildcats go down 2-1 to the Halifax Mooseheads. You want to go to the good, the bad?
Let's just start with everything. This
Thomas Couture.
Best player on the ice.
Yep.
Best Wildcat by far. Thomas Darcy, if you want to make a step forward this year, you better start playing some friggin' defense. 2 turnovers, letting guys skate around you. You're losing your jock strap on the ice.
That was the first game Ty Bell played too, right?
It was.
How did it look?
Second.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. First one I got to see him live.
More comfortable, much more comfortable out there.
There's an adjustment period happening.
Of course.
But no, he's. I saw some posts on the board today saying about some guy said he expected more out of him. Like, give me a freaking break.
Kudos to you for using freaking.
Like you are. It's literally the second exhibition game. He's still getting accustomed to the smaller ice. Relax, he's gonna be fine.
It's just like Barbashev last year. Like he came in after Christmas, didn't light the world on fire right away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an adjustment
he's
period.
He's gonna be fine.
Big ice.
There was not much going on with this game anyway. I think they missed probably about 50 shots on net. A lot of block shots again.
Loshing puts in those two breakaways.
One for 3 on breakaways.
More physical. The Wildcats were much
more
physical than they were against St. John the week before. Which like we said, St. John's going to be a different team with Gordy Dwyer behind the bench, and you can see it early in the preseason. But Thomas Couture. I mean, they got outshot 14-3 in that second period, and
he's the reason why it was 2-1.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting back on the physical side. I mean, I'm super impressed with Etienne Morin. Like he's for a 16-year-old, this guy is hitting like a Mack truck already. So he's going to be, he came in here as an offensive guy, but played a lot, but focused a lot on defense as well. Like his physical game is impressive, and if you look at down the road, you're going to put him in. I wouldn't say put them together, but him and Iasenza, like they're going to kill some people. That's just going to be
Iasenza's going to lead this team in penalty minutes.
He's going to lead the team in penalty minutes,
but he's also not take anything.
He's also going to put some people on their ass.
100%,
and
love it.
That's what fans should be super excited about. And I'm glad he came to this team in October of last year because if he would have stayed midget, he wouldn't he wouldn't have played, right? So we would have been a fresh rookie, and I'm glad he got the development last year.
And you can see the development.
You can, it's
it's
night and day. Another player that's night and day for me, can't think of his name now because I just completely lost my train of thought because I looked down at the election results that are going on right now. Because we are recording on Monday night.
Can confirm.
We don't record this Wednesday mornings.
What?
I can't think of his name here, but no, I've already noticed Isen's a step forward. I got to give it to him, though, because I've been harping on him forever.
Do it.
Cloutier deserves a spot on this team. I think what he's done in this preseason is deserving of a spot. I think he gets a regular playing time. You know, chirp him all you want for his skating, but
Jake Stewart light.
He's getting it done.
Identical.
He's getting it done.
Yeah,
He's putting up. He's making the plays. You can see why he was involved. He was included in that Peltry trade. So he's another one that's taking a step forward. I'm going to try going forward to ignore his skating, and just focus on what he's going to bring in terms of offensive ability every night.
If the 20-year-old battle wasn't tough enough between Stewart and Bernier coming into camp that we talked about, it sure as shit ain't getting any easier for Richie and his team. Because, I mean, Jake had the hit from behind. You can't have that from a 20-year-old in a preseason game.
Let's be honest.
But
that was a mediocre call.
Yeah, it sounded louder than it probably was.
Yeah, and that the only reason why it sounded louder is because what the arena that we were playing.
Yeah.
That was a mediocre call. It wasn't. I don't think it was a 5-minute. But at the same time, it's preseason, so these refs gotta do what they can to
limit what could happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So give him 5. I mean, it's like a meaningless game. I don't think he gets suspended. But
I like what Bernie's doing on the ice.
Yeah, it's good. But you can't. He's the only way he sticks is if Dow somehow signs a contract and plays AHL.
Yeah.
What's that? I mean, is it gonna? It could have happened. Yeah, for sure. But
the likelihood's small, though.
Very small likelihood. Yeah. So I'm fully expecting it to be, Dow and Stewart and that defenseman whose name you can't pronounce.
DeGrossier.
That's better. Yeah. So he's hurt right now.
You were so proud of yourself. Holy, I love it.
It's almost like I practice.
Yeah.
Matthias Rousseau, he didn't get a lot of work for the Mooseheads, but he looked pretty good.
I want to actually, and before we go into that, because you talked about a hit from behind, I just want to kind of go off the cuff quickly and say, I'm not sure if you saw it, obviously. Myself and you guys, I'm sure, wish well to former Wildcat defenseman and Halifax Moosehead defenseman Jared McIsaac, who got run last night, left the ice on a stretcher in that Grand Rapids game. Anyways, I know it was kind of off topic, but you brought it up, so I just want to say, Jared, we wish you well, buddy. Get better soon.
Another thing is this didn't get a lot of attention as the McIsaac kick, but Jonathan DeRosier was actually involved in a car accident up in Chicoutimi, and he's good, and he's good. There's 3 of them, I think, in a car accident. It was him. And 2 other guys. One of them has a concussion, but I guess I don't really read French that great. But
better than me.
By the way the article was worded, was that he was fine in the car accident to the point where he still got to the rink for the game, but just didn't play.
Oh wow, okay,
yeah.
Good.
So
glad
I don't know.
Okay,
I just that's my French reading, but I just happened to click on a French article this morning, and it said something about a accident auto Chicoutimi, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll read it. And I saw his name pop up as one of the 3 guys in the accident. So, it's something about how he
glad he's okay.
Got out of the crash and made it to the rink. But
are you sure it didn't say he crashed into the rink?
No.
Drive through rink.
Yeah.
No. I'm glad he's okay. That's awesome news, man. That's great to hear.
What are your thoughts on this? What could happen this year with this hockey club? It's weird not to see you at the rink as much and.
Right, because I literally, every game I've watched, that and like every game I've been in the booth. Like I haven't seen a game. I didn't see a game from the seats once last year.
Yeah.
Not one. Plus, it was getting so boring calling Moncton St. John.
What?
But overall, honestly, man, I know you're gonna play it earlier because I know that I don't want to spoiler alert it, but we were talking about where Moncton's possibly going to finish in the division.
Yeah.
I think, Moncton impressed a lot of people last year, considering everyone thought they were going to be garbage, right? They worked hard, and you guys had talked about it before the season started. During the preseason, you guys were like, you know what? These kids put their boots on and they're going to work. I have a hard time believing, and I understand the loss of Jacob Hudson is absolutely massive, which, by the way, looks good in a Bruins uni. Good luck, Jacob.
That's from a Habs fan.
100%. But overall, I feel like this is year 2 of a rebuild, and I feel like they're taking a step backward.
You know what? I kind of feel the same way because there's no Jacob Pelletier on this team. From a work ethic side of things,
Well, I think they're hoping that Loshing becomes that guy. No, I get what you're saying, but I think that you're looking at it from that perspective, right?
Yes, but there's no, in terms of work ethic, there's no Jacob Pelletier, there's no Jacob Hudson, and just to ride the tails of Jacob here, Jacob Stewart's not going to be that guy. Well, no. I'm probably the hardest critic of Jacob Stewart.
What?
And soon enough, it'll probably be Matthews Cloutier. But like I said earlier,
because Jacob Stewart's going to punch you in the mouth.
if Matthews Cloutier continues, if he puts up points, I'm going to completely ignore his skating.
Cloutier's going to be fine.
But Jacob Stewart is just a guy. Look, Jake, I'm sorry, but I haven't felt a connection with you on the ice.
Call him. Jacob, call him.
For about 3 years.
You two need to get on the same page.
Anytime I get asked to put together a roster for this team, literally takes me,
never there.
It's never there. He's never there, and it takes so much energy to go and put his name on a piece of paper. But leadership. It comes down to leadership, and this team needs leadership, and you can't have this team without Jacob Stewart. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't care if he's a 20-year-old forward playing on the fourth line.
You need a guy.
You need a guy like
that.
that.
100%.
Especially in the PK.
Yeah, but just the work ethic is not there.
And faceoffs. Yeah.
The work ethic is not there.
They need Daou back in this lineup. For at least the first half of the year. Now, again, I think he's on the move. It'd be stupid not to trade him.
Three or four guys.
Right, and you're going to get a hauled return for him.
I feel like a player that could be the Hudson Pelletier very light is Anthony Hamill. He's that bulldog, never give up attitude. He's going to come to the rink every night. He just has that kind of attitude, yeah.
Speaking of which, man, Peltz looks good at camp, eh?
Yeah.
He's getting rave reviews in Calgary right now.
Yeah. He looks really good. And,
it's the worst.
Hey, the Oilers beat the Flames the other night. Shut your mouth.
That's all right, man. How's Raph Lavoie looking at Edmonton? Oh, right. Right.
He's all right.
He's going to be a Connor McDavid's line mate.
Actually, I was saying
he's going to put up points every night. I'm pretty sure he's banned
Actually,
from the country. He's probably over in Europe somewhere.
Lavoie?
Just being a dick.
No, when he got drafted, everyone looking at his Memorial Cup numbers and stuff, and they're like, he's going to be McDavid's winger in 2 years. I'm like, no, he's not.
Because he scores in an empty net.
I'm like, no, he's not. Anyways,
we're off on a tangent, boys. I just wanted to bring up Peltz because you're talking about this.
This is an Islanders preview, not a Wildcats preview. That's next week.
That's next week. So it's, this team, I think they're going. I've said it a few times. I think they're going to surprise in the playoffs. I think last year in the round robin provincial tournament, that was big for them, and I think they're going to get past round one, and they're going to be a surprise to whoever they play.
Hot take.
Yep.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Wildcats playoff spot will be the last spot available.
Ooh.
Okay, so you have them 16th.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I was having this conversation with Jerry, and at one point I had them not even making the playoffs.
Wow. Okay.
Now I hope they shock me. I hope they do. I hope they surprise me. But there's just something about it.
You can tell he's been away because now he's going to go the reverse. They're not making the playoffs, and then because we were a curse, but
they're making the playoffs.
I mean, they have to be dog shit not to.
I mean, there's
Baie-Comeau
is complete crap.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
The only thing I think is good in Baie-Comeau is the put in because I know Richie recommended it. Valdor is going to complete sell off at Christmas. Yeah, they're going to tank because let's be honest, all they've got.
What a waste of a CBC game that's going to be.
Oh my god, they've got Robidas, they've got I think Paquette, and they've got I think Provo, and that's it's going to be a complete sell-off in Valdor. So I think, if there's two teams that don't make the playoffs, I think one is Baie-Comeau, two is Valdor, and
maybe the Eagles.
Okay.
I think Eagles will make it.
What's the playoffs without Pat McNeil?
That's true. Yeah,
but no, let's not get into that right now. Predictions are what
next week?
3 weeks because the season doesn't start for another 5
next week.
Yeah.
Anyways,
next week already. So
yeah. So We will get into that. We're getting off track here. There's an election going on.
There's an election going on, and we have a very special guest. So let's get to the view from the other bench.
View from the other bench.
All right, we're back with another year of the preseason previews this year on the Maritimes division. And this week, it's a preview of the team we at least got to see at the Avenir Center last year, other than the New Brunswick teams, the division champ Charlottetown Islanders, who went 35-5 for 70 points, getting all the way to the Final Four before losing out to the eventual champion Victoriaville Tigre. We have making his Wildcast podcast debut on the line, play-by-play voice of the Islanders, Corey Arsenault. Thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
Yeah, guys, great. Looking forward to the season getting up and underway, and happy to be on and talking hockey. Two things I like to do most: watch hockey and talk about it. So let's get at it.
All right, let's go back to last year. I mean, the team, all the success they had. I mean, you can't pick and choose who you play. All the way to the Final Four. Just talk about the year in general and how weird it was and how close they came to getting to the final.
Yeah, I think it really started at the draft, a year ago this past summer when Jim Holton made the trade for Colton Ellis. When that trade was made, he was coming in to fill the shoes of Matthew Welsh, who we all know what he meant, not only to the Islanders on the ice, but off the ice as well. So when Colton Ellis came in, this team was going to be for real. They were going to make a push, and obviously they did. It's unfortunate how things kind of worked out, but they certainly had a successful season. And the 3 20-year-olds, that's something that Jim certainly believes in. That has to be a strength of his hockey team, and he had it last year. I don't think anybody saw the season that Cedric Desrousseaux had and was going to have. He was just a human highlight reel at times, and I know the coaching staff and players with Cape Breton and Halifax certainly were happy to see him move on. Thomas Casey was outstanding as well. And on the back end, I mean, the Islanders are built from the back end out, and I think that's why the Islanders are really excited about, the returning corps that are coming back with Lucas Cormier and Noah Lowen. To me, Noah Lowen, he's been probably the best trade that Jim Holton made throughout his tenure, and he hasn't lost too many trades. But that one there for Derek Gentile a couple years back, he has been a rock-solid stud defenseman on the back end for the Islanders, and I was thrilled to see him get the opportunity to go to the Arizona Coyotes rookie camp with the recognition that he got last year, because I think he's a number one defenseman on a lot of teams in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. When you can partner him up with a talent like Lucas Cormier, it certainly makes things a lot easier. And then William Trudeau and Oscar Plandowski took the next step. They went out and acquired Patrick Gay, and the reason why they went and got him is because they knew there was going to be a 2-year window here in Charlottetown, and really excited about what he can bring to the table this year. I mean, lots of positives, and obviously, running into the semifinals, a little bit disappointing when all they needed was one more victory against Victoriaville. Just couldn't find it, but Victoriaville obviously scratched and clawed their way right to the championship. But a learning moment, and for Jim Holton, I mean, he has certainly been the face of this franchise here in Charlottetown. I've been around this team since year one when the Rocket moved to town and they were eliminated in the second round by Corey Crawford and the Moncton Wildcats back in 03-04. And there was a lot of valleys when the PEI Rocket were here. We had a lot of fun. There's no doubt about that, but we didn't win a whole lot of games. But Jim Holton certainly has turned that around, and he's gone to 3 semifinals now here, where the Rocket were only able to get to the second round, I think, twice in 10 years. So certainly winning ways have become accustomed here, and it's a demand here in Charlottetown, and really looking forward to hopefully this season getting off the ground and seeing what they can do across a full schedule here in the Quebec League this year.
So you mentioned the Colton Ellis trade, and then fast forward to this past draft with the acquisition of Xavier Simoneau. I know we talked to the guys from Bathurst last week, and they talked about the impact that Hendrix Lapierre will have with the Titans. What's the impact level that Simoneau is going to bring to the Islanders?
Well, I think first and foremost, in order to come here, it's your character and how he fits in the dressing room. And from all the reports, he comes with spades. And that was the same thing with Colton Ellis in Rimouski. We were told that he was basically a captain in that room among star players. So Simoneau comes in, he's a pro's pro. He's a young man that has his vision set on the next level I think the Islanders are hoping that he gets back here. You never know what can happen in Montreal with an outstanding training camp. But he got here early and was on the ice training. He's excited and ready to go. You know, it's never easy to leave an organization that drafted you in the first round and you played 4 years and now you're coming to the Maritimes to finish off your major junior career. But I know he's excited to do so. You know, Jim Holton made that move because I think there was 2 players on the block, and it was either you go for Xavier Simoneau or you go for Hendrix Lapierre. Lapierre was probably a little bit more expensive, or I know he was more expensive. You know, Simoneau, did he really fit the plans because they acquired Bailey Peach, hoping that he would turn into a 20-year-old this year? Zachary Beauregard, I think, you know, he won me over in training camp 3 years ago with his work ethic. But when you get a chance to add a point getter like Xavier Simoneau, I think you have to go out and do it. And once again, you know, full confidence in Jim Holton. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how to get the best of his players. He talks about 3 20-year-olds have to be your 3 best players. And with Simoneau, Budgel, and Lowen down the middle, I would have to put them up against any trio of 20-year-olds in the league here this year.
No, that's absolutely, you know, you're bang on. And we've been watching Jim Holton, like you said, too. I mean, we've been fans of his for a long time. And every player that comes in and wants to play for Jim, that's the thing you always hear is that is, you know, he's a player's coach. But I have an interesting one for you, Corey, and that is between the pipes. My question to you is, I mean, you're looking at, it's Jacob Gooby's been basically, you know, raised to take this role over and do what he's going to do. Any chance now with the acquisition and, you know, the import draft and everything that took place, any chance that he gets pushed between the pipes? Well, could we see a 1A, 1B scenario?
I would have to think so. And you know what? That's $1 million question here right now in Charlottetown. And I think there's a bit of nerves going into the season. They know what they have on the back end. They know what they have up front. Jacob Gooby was a tremendous talent in midget hockey, leading his team to the Atlantic title and into the Nationals. Unfair comparable to Matthew Welsh. I think a lot of people thought that he was going to be this guy, but let's not forget Matthew Welsh, 16, 17 years old. He really only came into his own, Matt Welsh, in his 18-year-old year, in the back half of his 18-year-old year, when he, you know, put the Islanders on his back and basically took them to the semifinals. So, you know, it's up in the air. There's no doubt about that. They had, you know, sourced around the league, kind of, you know, seeing who's available out there right now. And, you know, goaltending certainly has been a strong point here in Charlottetown since Jim Holton came aboard, whether it was Matt Welsh beforehand, Mason McDonald, you know, Mark Gramabauer they made a move for, and then Colton Ellis last year. This year, you know, that's $1 million question. And Satney, Oliver Satney's in Buffalo at the Sabres training camp right now. He's one of the top ranked Czech netminders, and we've had some success with some Czech import players, but they're wild cards. In any import that I've seen that has come in over my, you know, 16, 17, 18 years of covering major junior hockey, you need to give them, you know, a fair shake of at least half a season to be accustomed just to your surroundings, let alone on ice. So, you know, Jacob Gooby's going to get the opportunity. He's looked good in training camp so far, which has been a positive, but I've seen a lot of players look good in training camp. When the regular season rolls around, it's a different story, right? So there's pressure on him. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, and that's right now is the $1 million question here for Charlottetown. Is this goaltending tandem going to be good enough to get the job done? Because this year looks like a year where it's not just nickel and diamond. It looks like they're lining up for an all-in type run that has never happened here in Charlottetown. We've acquired a few players here and there, but, you know, it looks like they're lining up to make a real stab at it, especially with the Memorial Cup in the Quebec League this year. But goaltending certainly is going to be the question. They're going to have, between the two of them, they're going to have 30 games before Christmas, and if the job's not getting done, I could see Jim potentially going out and searching to see what is out there in the open market. But both goaltenders 18 years old. We've seen it last year with Ertzebis, who defeated us, with Jacobo. You know, probably not goaltenders that would knock your socks off. Going into that series against Victoriaville, you would think that Charlottetown would have the edge with Colton Ellis. That wasn't the story. Ertzebis and Jacobo got the job done, and their goaltending was good enough to get them to the next level.
Yeah, it feels like the way they're lining up, it's the 80s, 90s type hockey where the goaltender's just got to be good enough to make that next save, and part of the goaltending will be that excellent defense core in front of them. We've talked to a few media members around in our preseason previews. Just talk about the leadership group that is going to come with this group. I know we talked to Gareth McDonald, I think 2 weeks ago. Did they trade for their captain in Beauregard? Do you think Xavier Simoneau comes over, puts a C on his jersey? Is this Lucas Cormier's team and he finally takes the C and just kind of runs with it this year and maybe next year?
No, I don't think the C moves. It was Brett Budgell's last year, and as far as I'm concerned, it's Brett Budgell's team. He's got a cast of characters surrounding him right now with Cormier, Lowen, and Simoneau. I would say, those guys are primed for letters. But, Brett Budgell, to me, last year had a real big breakout season. He came in as a 16-year-old after he went to the USHL and was a second-round pick. Played that kind of card, went to the USHL, came back here, and that when he came here as a 16-year-old, got on a line with Nikita Alexandrov and Derek Gentile and took the Islanders to the semifinals, and he was outstanding. There was a lot of hype around him at 17 and 18. I think when he didn't get drafted as a 17-year-old, the hangover kind of affected his game as an 18-year-old, but he recommitted himself, and last year he became an outstanding 200-foot player, took care of his own end. He's not a guy that's kind of in your face, but he doesn't back down either. He commands leadership in the dressing room and respect. He's an outstanding young man off the ice and in the community as well. And, there was NHL teams, took notice. He had 5 or 6 different offers. There was talk of potentially an NHL entry-level deal being offered if it got approved up high at the higher levels. He's in Toronto's camp right now, and by all reports, having a great camp. So he's got something to prove. And with all these guys going to NHL camps, 10 of them right now, Patrick Gay was sick, picked up some kind of illness in Quebec, and wasn't able to attend Arizona. But there's going to be 10 guys, and that's a record for any major junior hockey team ever here in Charlottetown, going back to the Rocket days. Those guys all of a sudden are hungry to get to the next level. So I'm excited about those guys coming back. But as far as the leadership goes, Brett Budgell, he's the guy. There's going to be a cast of characters surrounding him, but he's certainly the face and the one speaker in the room.
I think we can all agree when you say it's an all-in year in Charlottetown, yeah, it's going to be an all-in year. What are some of your, I guess, expectations for maybe some acquisitions that would put the Islanders over the top? And if you want to name names, you can name names, but more or less, what kind of players do you expect to have on this roster after Christmas?
Well, the way I look at it right now, no team has everything. Generally, our back end, I love our back end. I put our back end up against any team's back end in the league, maybe in the CHL. Cormier and Lowen are going to play 30 minutes a night. Cormier could have 90 points. He's just been fantastic. He's in the best shape of his life. Not that he's ever been out of shape, but he's got something to prove. He wants to make that World Junior squad. William Trudeau, a toss-in from the P.O. Joseph trade back a couple of years ago, has turned out to be a pretty nice fifth piece that came at the 11th hour on that trade. One of the more underrated defensemen in the league. And then Oscar Plandowski, to me, he's just kind of scratching his potential. He gets confidence and puts his game together. He can be scary offensively as well. And then after that, Ryan Maynard. Mattis Aguilar is a guy that has a little bit of hype around him coming out of Quebec, a 6'2", 210-pound defenseman. The back end is set. Up front, the way I look at it, the third line for the Islanders right now has always been a strong part as well. Kieran Gallant, he probably doesn't drag a whole lot of clout with his name, but I'll tell you watch him play. He's one aggravating bugger to play against, an outstanding penalty killer, just like a bee or a wasp or a mosquito buzzing around the ice, just annoying the heck out of people. Him with Drew Elliott and Ben Boyd on the third line is going to be able to go up against some top lines because they can skate, they can play physical. To me, up front, the top six, that's where I kind of, there's an opening there. You got Brett Budgell, Xavier Simoneau, Patrick Gay, and Jakub Brabanek, who we really haven't seen a whole lot of. I've seen some highlights of him. He played in the Czech number 1 men's league last year. I believe he's a 3rd or 4th round pick of the Vegas Knights. He's obviously going to be penciled in. He's one of the top Czech players. Be interesting to see how he develops, but there's top 4 right there. Sam Oliver, 17-year-old, he's going to get an opportunity right off the hop. He's come into camp in good shape, but at 17, it's maybe a little bit of pressure to put on him, but he showed that he can put the puck in the net last year as a 16-year-old. And then the other wild card is Patrick LeBlanc. Patrick LeBlanc was tremendous amongst his peers growing up. It's taken him a little while to get comfortable, but I've watched him. He's put on some weight this past summer. He looks more confident both on and off the ice. He's going to get a big opportunity. But I mean, to me, you can never have enough goal scoring. If I'm the Islanders, I kind of compare our team last year to Victoriaville, and Victoriaville went out and got a guy like Alex Bocage. I don't know if there's a guy like that on the market this year. We'll have to wait and see how things kind of trickle down. But, I think they got to be big fish hunting. No doubt about that. I don't know what's available in the Maritimes. Obviously, Desnoyers in Halifax is going to be a guy that everybody is going to be in on. After that is there Lassard up in Val-d'Or. I really don't know a whole lot that's out there. But you look around that crop of 19-year-olds here right now. The Islanders have Patrick Gay, Lucas Cormier, and who's the other one that I'm thinking of right now? There's three of them from that draft class that are right there. So between them and St. John, I mean, if you're a seller this year, I can just imagine what the prices are going to be like at the Christmas trade deadline. You're going to have to be, I don't know. And the other side of the coin is the Islanders aren't flush with picks. There's other teams out there that have multiple first-round picks. So it's going to be interesting, but there'll be, player currency heading back. I mean, the Islanders will have a guy like Patrick Gay. They'll have a guy like Oscar Klandowski that are coming back next year as 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. So there's going to be, currency available that way. But, it'd be interesting if a guy like Ben Boyd maybe steps up and can play top six now that he's drafted into the NHL. You park him in front of the net on the power play. He's got some sneaky skill to go along with heavy shoulders. So, I mean, wait and see. But once again, it's all going to go down to goaltending. I mean, if the Islanders get good goaltending, they're going to be great. If they get average goaltending, they're going to be good. And if they get below average goaltending, well, it could be a bit of a wild card.
Well, you kind of brought up too as well, and I'm glad you did because I was going to bring it up in regards to, some people don't realize that the asking price come trade period deadline is going to be astronomical because the Memorial Cup's in the QMJHL this year. I mean, everybody knows when the Mem Cup's in your league, asking prices go through the roof. So I'm really glad you touched on it because you're right. You talked about, some teams out there with multiple picks, and I mean, hopefully we find out this week where the Mem Cup's going to be hosted. And I mean, you look just up the highway here in New Brunswick, and Trevor Georgie's got a slew of first and second round picks still left to kind of beef that team up too. So it'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out.
No, I totally agree, and you're right. I mean, he's sold off some big pieces and hasn't really replaced them with his picks, so he's got those to spend. But I mean, the Islanders did some big spending already. Right. They went out and got Patrick Gay. They went out and got Xavier Simoneau. So it's not as if they haven't already built to this point, and maybe they don't need to go get the Bocage type. Maybe it's, someone a little bit more under the radar that's going to provide a little bit more jam or, something like that. Because I think the Islanders are going to have to get some goal scoring. Defensively, I think they're strong as well. Maybe it's some guy that can, tighten things up down low. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. And the one thing about this year is I think the Maritime division is going to be terrific hockey. Like, I don't see too many weaknesses across the board. Even with Moncton and Cape Breton, they still have some young talent. We know Bathurst is going to be good. We know St. John's going to be good. Halifax is going to be right there as well. So, I mean, the Maritime division is not going to be an easy night each and every game.
So, I'll put on the pessimistic hat. If they don't get the goaltending, and I asked Jamie Tozer about this, is there a scenario where they look ahead and go, we can move some of these assets because the price is going to be too high if they don't get off to the start that they want? Or is this we've paid too much, we got to continue going this? Because, Jim is a great GM and he doesn't lose very often. So if there's a chance to, move some pieces to get some back, do you see that scenario, or is this too much of a all-in the past 2 years?
Well, that's a great question. I don't see a selling scenario. I see if we don't have goaltending come Christmas, that
go get it.
Okay, we're not going to get a top six forward. We're going to get a goaltender. That would be it. You know what I mean? Yeah. All of a sudden, you only have so much to trade off. Instead of going and get this guy, okay, here's our forward group. We got you got to strengthen your team. I would think. Yeah. in the one area you want. So, and that's a very realistic possibility. I mean, Jacob Gooby they have confidence in him, but at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie, and he's going to have a terrific team in front of him, and Satney as well. They're going to have terrific teams in front of them. If they can just get above average goaltending, I think they'll be fine. But we all know how critical goaltending can be come playoff time, and to get to the next level. But I think their eyes were opened a little bit last year when we went in with Colton Ellis and all the records that he had toting and all the sparkling numbers that he had behind him. He's the one that got beat out, and it was Jacobo and Ertzebis, and probably a little bit tighter team in front of those two goaltenders that were able to get the job done.
Same question I'll ask you as I've asked the others. Give us your Maritimes division prediction.
Oh, well, and not to be a homer and a bragger, but that's certainly what I am. I really like our chances here in Charlottetown. Until St. John puts it together consistently, they're on paper they scare me, but I've seen them over the last couple of years, and they got to get the job done. You can have all the talent in the world, but until you get the job done, it's tough to put them ahead. And Islanders have been able to get the job done. I like us and St. John. And St. John, if they put it together, they're going to be a tough out. And Gordy Dwyer, a good personal friend of mine, he's going there to try to get the ingredients in that bucket put together. And in St. John, there's so much talent, but there's only so much top 6 ice time or top 4 ice time on the back end. I think that's been a hindrance to them. It looks like they're trying to get that sorted out where they have players that are coming in and buying into their role. If you don't buy into your role with Gordy Dwyer, you're not going to have a role. So I think St. John is going to be all right. Goaltending has always been an issue with them as well. Jonathan Lemieux, to me, is like Colton Ellis trade last year.
Yep.
If he can get things done and make some saves for them, they're going to be tough. They're going to be really tough.
It's the blue line that scares me.
It's the blue line that scares me as well. I mean, defensively, they just can't get it done defensively.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing with 5 forwards out there at times. And if that's the style you want to play, but to me, that comes with coaching a little bit as well. But, Poirier is in overtime. There's nobody you want to see on the ice but Poirier because he can do magnificent things with the puck.
Yep.
But if the puck's turned over, you're in trouble. And the puck gets turned over once in a while. But listen, it's a learning process for them. There's talent. I like that team. I like the coach that they have now. But I know I can't wait to play them.
Gordy won't let that 5 forward system run. Gordy won't let it happen.
Gordy won't. Gordy's gonna crack the whip. Gordy's gonna crack the whip early on, and the egos are gonna be a clean sheet.
You can see it in the preseason already.
So, I mean, St. John could easily become I like us because I know what Jim has in the team here right now, and I know the experience and the roster that they have, and I see us building on last year's squad. I know we're playing Halifax and Cape Breton every night, but it was like men against boys, and I'm looking forward to that challenge. To me, us 1-2, you could flip it back and forth. I'm going to say us, St. John, but if St. John gets their crap together and gets good goaltending, and we don't get the goaltending, that could flip-flop pretty easily and very quickly. Bathurst, to me, is 3, but I personally think, and this is my thoughts, that they're a year ahead of their time. Like Riley Kidney and Cole Hawkins are unbelievable players. They're 18 years old. I don't know. Hendrix Lapierre to me I couldn't believe it when he was Bathurst of all places, really. Like, I know they had the success, and there's probably, I would think, some pressure to get some fans back in the stands there. There's no doubt about it, to have a strong and a winning team. But to me, they're a little bit a year ahead. I don't know the players are trying to build around there. Like, nobody really sticks out. Okay, we got to go for it. Bennett MacArthur, I'm great friends with his father. He's a terrific talent. There's no doubt about that. But, I think they might have jumped the gun a little bit. Hawkins and Kidney are going to be terrors on the ice next year at 19 years old. If they want to go out and get whoever they want and they offer those guys as a package, flip them back the opposite way, they can buy whoever they want. But do they have the team around them? I don't see the depth in Bathurst. I just, compared to St. John and Charlottetown, I just don't see the depth. But there's players there that I don't know as well either at the same time. Goaltending, to me, is a little bit of a question mark as well. The Czech kid, he's just been fair from what I've seen. I love Chad Arsenault. He's from my neck of the woods. He really helped that team last year, but it's obviously the Czech kids, team to go. So Bathurst would be 3, but Halifax is going to surprise some people as well. I think their trio of 16-year-olds. Vidicek, I think, is a fantastic player. Furlong on the back end is outstanding. James, to me, was the biggest story of the whole season last year. He's got potential to be a stellar goaltender here in the Quebec League. So Halifax is going to be right there. Cape Breton, to me, is spinning their tires a little bit. I like what Moncton's starting to do. They're doing a proper rebuild. They have some talent in there. The Lotion kid, I loved him in his draft year. They got some pieces to go along in there. So, that's kind of how I see it. Kind of, St. John, Bathurst, Halifax, Moncton, Cape Breton, to me, is a coin flip at the bottom.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's pretty much like last year is what we kind of figured.
Yeah, pretty much a repeat of last year almost.
Top 3, bottom 3.
Yeah.
But, the games have to be won on the ice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. Anything can happen, but it's going to be interesting. I just hope that we can talk all we want about it, but we got to get to the the opening weekend and make sure the bridge is open and everybody's kind of flying around and everybody else is doing their part off the ice as well.
Get through the longest preseason of life, and
crazy.
But I bet you're excited to get back on the bus, traveling the country there. So we want to thank you for joining us, man. It's
listen. Not traveling on the bus.
No,
that's the first thing we're not doing.
Huh.
Last year we actually called games from home in studio here in Charlottetown when they went to Quebec. So it saves a lot of time more than anything else. So I traveled on the bus for 12 years. I've been everywhere, and now I got a 3, 5, and a 7-year-old, and you know how that goes.
I do.
So the traveling days are somewhat. Listen, I'll probably get over the Moncton, but we're doing all the home games, and we're calling the Quebec games from home online as well, and then we'll get going to the playoffs. But we're going to leave the road games in every one of the broadcasters' capable hands across the Maritime. So if our hardcore fans want to tune in, they'll catch the local broadcaster, and I'll be sitting home relaxing.
I thought you were going to tell me that because you weren't on the bus anymore, it's because the team got you a chopper. I thought they were just going to fly you around.
That could be here sometime. You never know.
Well, again, thanks for joining us on your debut episode. Hopefully we can do this again. It was a pleasure to talk to you, Corey.
Well, listen, guys, it's fans like you guys the reason why we have jobs and there's teams around here. So certainly you guys have a real good thing going. When you guys got a hold of me and asked me if I was interested, I was all in. So I had fun anytime, and good luck with this moving forward.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Thanks, Corey.
Cheers.
All right, well, it's always good to get new voices on the show. And, Corey he's an Islanders guy. He believes
he's
in
been
a team.
Staple of play-by-play hockey and PEI for many moons.
If you're an Islander, if you're an Islander and you don't know an Arsenault or Gaudette, are you really an Islander?
No.
So Arsenault is the Cormiers and
it's like I would even throw a Gallant in there. Yeah. Like there's goodies, and they say goody over there.
Yeah.
So it's not Gaudette, it's Goody.
Oh, okay.
So it's because there used to be a curler in PEI by the name of Suzanne Goody, but her name was Gaudet. So it was Suzanne Goody.
The more you know.
And if you don't know an Arsenault, a Goody, or a Gallant and PEI, are you really an Islander?
Nope.
It's that's the history books of like LeBlanc is like the Arsenaults.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Cormier.
Yeah. So it's a very popular last name.
That's gonna be a good team though. The Islanders.
Yes.
Like he said though, and your question was gonna be my question. You go from Welsh to Ellis, Jacob Gooby. When we were at the draft with Aiden, he talked about Gooby. That was the guy. Jeremy flat out asked him.
Yeah.
Everyone flat out asked him, like, you're taking him. He's like, I don't know. That's their guy. And now,
plus you couldn't have two better mentors in front of the guy in the last 2 years from a goaltending perspective.
Is he enough, or is it him plus the 6 in front of him, the defenseman? Because that's a pretty good defense score.
You know what this whole goaltender situation reminds me of? A few years back when
Charles-Antoine Lavallée
was told 3 days before the draft, this is your team. And then the Wildcats go and acquire Olivier Rodrigue on the Friday.
To work out, yeah.
I mean, this is obviously, to to me, I think it's an absolute kick in the nuts to Jacob Gooby.
Agreed.
And I think I was trying to find a tweet from 2 weeks before the import draft where the Islanders said something like, I can't remember what the exact word. I think they actually deleted it because I can't find it now. But it's Jim Holton saying this is Jacob Gooby's team going forward. But then 2 weeks later, they go and take Oliver Satney in the Euro draft.
Right.
So I cannot find that tweet for the life of me right now. So they must have deleted it for that.
Corey
for
said
that
Satney's
reason.
in Buffalo camp right now too.
Yeah. So interesting. They're going to be a good squad. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Wildcat that ends up in Charlottetown after the trade period.
Right.
Particular forward, right wing with a mustache. Just not going to names.
No.
And I think that player would be a good fit for the
Rhymes with
best answer in the queue.
Yeah. It's my bold Islanders trade deadline prediction.
Yeah, that's not a bad little depth add because, like Corey said, it's goaltending if it's anything that they add.
Any chance Halifax moves Zach Leroux?
No, I think they're in for next year.
I think they moved Denway before they moved.
Well, I think Desnoyers is on his way out. Like I think, and he knows that, and he's going to get a haul for him. But if you can get the right pieces, and I agree with you, but I mean, the question you have to ask yourself is Leroux's impressed a lot of people at camp. He's got an NHL.com profile on him there the other day because of his sweet haircut.
Sick mullet.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't know. Like if I'm Halifax and there's any possible indication that he is not back with your club next year, you move him.
Mm-hmm. But who's the only team? The only team that can acquire him is
St. John.
St. John.
Which is where I wouldn't shock me if that's where Desnoyers ends up.
Oh, really? I think
if
Quebec.
Zach Leroux is traded, I would not be surprised if it's in St. John.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. But if he's not, Desnoyers would fit that bill too.
I thought Denway would go to Quebec.
That's also where I'm thinking.
I think
It would make sense. But like I said, Quebec's almost out of assets.
Yeah.
Like they're running low.
Yeah.
They've made all their moves. They're still going to make some moves, but all their moves happened draft preseason.
Yeah.
So, anyways, St. John's got the assets, but somebody big will be on the move, and St. John's not done.
No, no.
Trevor said they're all in, regardless. Win or lose this bid, they're all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it won't be the conspiracy that I brought up with Jamie, where they could sell off and
Not a
recoup
chance.
some assets.
I mean, unless they're shit in the bed when the season
Yeah.
starts, but even then, I can't see it.
No.
Like I said, Gordy Dwyer will fix that.
I feel like
blue
they
line.
have the best goaltender in the division.
Oh, I agree with that.
So it'll be
Well,
a fun little.
I don't know. I'm a Filion guy myself, and I think Filion's the best goaltender in the division. But that's just because I'm biased.
No,
Well, yeah.
best young goaltender in the division.
Call him what you will.
Yeah. We'll see if he is in fact the best goaltender.
A little Carey Price situation back there. Build that team out game after game. That's what we need from him.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need from him. And hopefully we get that. That'll do it for us on the show. Thanks again to the Islanders play-by-play voice, Corey Arsenault. Thanks again to you, Mr. Dobson, for joining. Well, Jeremy for bringing him, and you for joining.
Honestly, boys, this has been a treat, man. Thank you so much for welcoming me back into the room with open arms. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for having
Anytime
me.
you can get out of the house.
I appreciate it, man. Thank
You're
you.
welcome here.
Deodorant on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do. The Wildcats play their final 2 preseason games this weekend, Friday at the Eastlink Center and then at the KC Irving Regional Center in Bucktouche.
And remember to bring your proof of vaccination on Sunday and
Yes,
your masks.
Exactly.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.